Many people are blaming China. Some of these states, some individuals want to sue China. The president said yesterday, he's threatening to keep the World Health Organization, that funding freeze in place for another 30 days. Is that a definite?
Yes, it is at the moment. The president's letter was very revealing. One of the most disturbing things that I think was in the letter the president wrote about the WHO was that on January 21st, you had the Chinese president Xi Jinping telling the WHO, pressuring the WHO to not call this a health emergency. And the very next day, you had the WHO saying this is not a public health emergency of international concern. That is one of many pieces of evidence we have of the WHO and China slow-walking this information. Lives were put at risk, and U.S. taxpayer dollars will not go to an organization that slow-walks information, has a China bias, and puts American lives at risk.
All right, so here's a quote from the letter. It is clear that the repeated missteps by you and your organization as the president to the WHO responding to the pandemic has been extremely costly for the world. The only way forward for the WHO is for it to actually demonstrate independence from China. If the World Health Organization does not commit to major substantive improvements within the next 30 days, I'll make my temporary freeze of United States funding to the World Health Organization permanent. So there's the message. It's unambiguous. So China yesterday, reportedly, President Xi was asked to be the keynote speaker. Why not? And in it, he gave in to international pressure, which included Russia and Turkey, to allow an investigation into Wuhan. Number one, do you believe it? And number two, is that the type of step forward that you're hoping for?
Look, I'll leave it to the president as to what steps he hopes to see. The onus is on the WHO here to prove that they don't have a China bias. That is where the onus lies. They need to assure the United States that taxpayer dollars are used well, particularly when you consider the fact that they were all for China's onerous restrictions of travel into their country. But when the president said, I'm stopping travel at our border from Wuhan, we were told by the WHO that that was a bad decision. So interesting facts like that really highlight the problems there. But I'll leave it to the president as to what changes he wants to see.